Be sure to go to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. Do the same with the Grizzly Gentleman, 10% off at checkout on your fantastic beard products. Or you could shop via the TCG Player affiliate link in the description down below to help support the show. And last but of course not least, you can go to Grey Viking Games with the affiliate link below to pillage some sweet arena codes. Planeswalkers, 36 packs more. Kaldheim, spoilers, reviews, things, whatever. We have another one today. And today, it should be Monday for all of you. And, you'll also see multiple videos today. That's because, I haven't been able to get all the way through my, EDH stuff. So I haven't been able to order, the cards that I need in time to make the video for, Rexiel's stuff, the deck tech. So instead, you're going to have a different, EDH-related video. So I figured in recompense, we can also give multiple spoiler videos. Regardless, as we start, Arnie Slays the Troll is a red-green enchantment saga. Target creature you control fights up to one target creature you don't control. Sure, we get immediate board value, which is quite nice. You're playing this in red-green, you're probably going to have a decent-sized creature. Second, add a red. Put 2 1/1 counters on up to one target creature you control. Add some mana. Make a big dude. And with that mana, you can make another big dude. Yeah. Then third, you gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. That's just kind of tacked on. I think that's probably reasonable. I think the first two really drive this saga, and the third one is just a little bit of a bonus. Yeah, I like the saga. It's clean. That's why I like it. Finn the Fangbearer, baby. 2 mana, 1/3 legendary human warrior to green. Has Death Touch. But more importantly, whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. A player with 10 or more poison counters loses the game. Poison's back on the menu, boys! So what I love about this card is the fact that it's whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage. Now, it's not that creatures you control with Death Touch have Poisonous too. Poisonous is technically like... it's like that. This is called essentially. Virulent Sliver. It is virulent, right? All slivers have Poisonous 1. Whenever a sliver deals combat damage to a player, that player gets a trigger. Blah blah blah. Poisonous 1. They get a poison counter. This is different. It doesn't have Poisonous, and the trigger is 2 poison counters. So you only have to deal 5 instances of combat damage with creatures that have Death Touch in order to kill your opponent, because you only need 10. Of note, according to Mark Rosewater, this is not going to be the only card that talks about poison. That's cool. That's cool. Second, this is not Infect. This thing still deals normal combat damage. If your opponent is at 1 with no poison counters, you attack them with this, they will still die because they're only at 1, and it still has 1 power. It's not Infect, so your creature's not dealing damage in the instance of negative counters. You're still dealing normal creature damage. We have seen kind of memey Death Touch decks. We have a couple of Raskas that care about Death Touch. We have some other Death Touch based cards in Historic, and they're black-green, so this definitely slots in there. The deck only honestly needed a couple more cards to be at least meme playable. Not viable, but meme playable. And this card adds to it. It's really awesome. Is it going to kill people with poison counters? Probably not very frequently, because, well, you know what? Possibly, because one of the issues with many Death Touch creatures is the fact that they often are kind of small. They don't have a lot of power because you don't need them to have a lot of power, right? A 6/6 with Death Touch is going to kill the same number of things as a 1/1 with Death Touch. I guess tactically that's not true, because there's like prevent the next 1 damage that's been dealt or blah blah blah. Like technically speaking, that's not entirely true, but practically speaking, it is. So what's fun is that you can like turn 1 play a Typhoid Ratzer or equivalent. Turn 2 play this, attack your opponent for 1, bada bing bada boom. They're a 5th dead. They're 20% dead. They're still 19 life. They're still 20% fucking dead. Next turn, maybe you play something that makes it so your creatures can't be blocked this turn or something. I don't know if there's anything like that. But bada bing, bada boom. Your opponent now has 6 poison counters. They are 60. No, 60. Yeah, 60. 60% dead. It's cool. I like the card. It's a ton of fun. Yeah, Death Touch plus poison. 2 things I love. Return upon the tide. 5 mana sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it's an elf, make a couple more elves. Foretell for 4. The Foretell costs 1 more, but you can do it earlier. This only gets something from your graveyard, but there is an extra benefit if it's specifically an elf, so that's cool. I don't know if those are meant to look like it, but those look like scales from a snake, which is very cool. Makes sense. These elves do kind of worship the serpent, Koma, who's not a snake. It's a serpent. It's cool, and it's meh. Big stabby. Some large elephant. 5 mana, 6/5 with trample. Whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. I would have loved to see this card. Green gets to draw cards in a bunch of different ways. Can white have this version of card draw? Like, if your opponent tries to target your stuff, like, in Retribution you get to draw. Doesn't that make sense in white? Like, please, Wizards? Like, just give that to white. Green has a bunch of other ways to draw. You can draw based on the power of your creatures. You can draw whenever one of your creatures, like, enters the battlefield, or whenever you cast one of your creatures. Can white have the, if your permanent, like, gets destroyed or targeted by a spell or ability an opponent controls, you can draw? Like, wouldn't that be nice? Also, it has Foretell of 2 double green. Like, I think this card, in a vacuum, is a great card. It's a mythic, and despite the fact that it doesn't feel mythic, in terms of like what it actually does, in a vacuum, I think the power level is mythic. Once again, it doesn't feel mythic. Wizards has lost the plot on mythics, but I've been reading discussions about this card, because this is one of the cards, for what it's worth, that has been leaked really early on. And a lot of people are like, this card's just bad. And when we're in a world where a 5 and a 6/5 trample with upside that you can cast a turn early is bad, that's a weird fucking world. Also, why does this thing have tusks coming out of its chest? I'm not comfortable by it. I'm hoping they're not real tusks. I'm hoping they're mounted. Because if they're not, I don't like this thing's anatomy. I think it's very strange. But whatever. The discourse on this card makes me lose hope for Magic. My D&D OC, hilarious. 5 mana, 5/5 Elf Warrior with no text. Ravenous Lindworm is a 6 mana 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. This is exactly the same as like Honeypot Mammoth or something from a really recent set. I think it's like exactly the same, right? 6 mana 6/6. Maybe that's one when it dies. It's either when it enters or when it dies. But it's like exactly the same, except this is a worm. Not a snake, not a serpent. It's a worm. Horrible encounter. 4 mana sorcery creatures that aren't the creature type of your choice get -3/3 until end of turn. It's black. First of all, I gotta say, once again, Wizards, I understand you can't do this in Standard, because maybe it'd be too good in Standard. Can you please give black Death Touch? Or, Death Touch, Damnation, please? Look, I'll sail for Mutilate. Just in Historic, please give us either Damnation or Mutilate. Preferably Mutilate, because then, like, the decks that are playing them are going to be heavy black, which is fine, because I'd be playing Bolas or Chrome Black. Regardless. This is definitely not a board wipe that you play in random control decks, right? This is a mid-range or aggressive creature deck that only plays one creature type, or at least mostly plays one creature type, right? In your mid-range elf decks, you bring this in. If you're somehow playing black-red goblins, you bring this in, right? Like, you play this only in decks where you want to kill your opponent's creatures, but you need your creatures to stay alive. Yeah, that's literally it. This This is a sideboard card for tribal decks that have black in them. Which is fine, don't get me wrong. But Master Skull is a 5-mana white dwarf warrior. That's a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, I think the flavor of this just isn't there. I think this is just for balance reasons, I guess. You're getting rid of a creature in your graveyard to get an artifact or enchantment. Sure, it's not very good, but might be useful in limited, maybe. I doubt it. Dwarven Hammer is a 3-mana red equipment. Equip 3. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and has trample. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 2/1 red dwarf berserker creature token, then attach Dwarven Hammer to it. So for 5 mana, you get a 5/1 with trample. Doesn't have haste. I think this is one of the worst versions of this. I mean, it gives trample though, so maybe it's fine in limited. I mean, essentially all of these are in the context of limited. I don't like it. I don't play red much. Discard. Glorious Protector is a 4-mana white angel cleric with flash. She's also a 3/4 for what it's worth. Flash and flying. Foretell 3. When Glorious Protector enters the battlefield, you may exile any number of non-angel creatures you control until Glorious Protector leaves the battlefield. This is so very close to Restoration Angel, but it isn't. Notably, Restoration Angel had the same restriction. It's exile target non-angel. The reason for that is so that you can't just keep looping. Loop-de-shooply dooply loops. You can't just keep looping them with just 2 copies of it. Fair. Reasonable. That's fine. Benefits of this card. You can technically cast it for cheaper. It's going to cost you more overall, 5 mana instead of 4. But if you're able to just invest 2 mana at some point and then only hold up 3 mana, only holding up 3 mana compared to only holding up 4 mana is different, right? That is an actual functional change. You can exile any number of non-angel creatures you control until it leaves the battlefield. What that means is Resto Angel can maybe save one of your things from targeted removal. This can save one of your things from targeted removal. Asterisk. But this also can protect against board wipes, and Resto couldn't. For what it's worth, Resto also couldn't because of the fact that Resto is an immediate flicker. And there are definite boons and banes to immediate versus delayed flicker, or in this case, super delayed flickers, right? This is exiled until it leaves. Notably, this leaves the battlefield. So your creatures aren't going to get stuck under this card, which is very important. This is a card that has a lot of potential in Death and Taxes decks for Historic. In most situations, I don't think you replace Resto Angel with this in other formats. We've seen things like Mothra. We've seen Nightmare Shepherd. We have ways of coming back from board wipes. I really like this version because of the fact that many D&T cards have ETB effects. Now, obviously, with those other cards, you can still get the ETBs. But this is also just a 3/4 that has other effects. It has flash, which is nice, right? This doesn't have to exile anything of yours, right? This can very well just be, well, my opponent is tapped out. They killed one of my things, but this three power means I can kill them, right? Like, this can do several different things. It can do surprise blocks, can do a bunch of interesting things. I'm definitely going to try it out. In mono white, this beats out Mothra because more and more cards with flying have been printed that Death and Taxes wants to play. In white-blue, I could see this card also being played. We don't have as many flying creatures, but the fact that this has flash can be very important. In white-black, I don't know if this is better than Shepherd. In white-red, we don't have as many ETBs, so I don't know if this is technically worth using. In white-green, we have Collect a Company, which doesn't hit this, which is where the friction comes in. So I don't know. I'm definitely going to try it, though. I'm excited for this card. I've not been excited for some of the other white cards. Cough, cough, the 2-mana one. Arachnoform is a 2-mana, green enchant aura. Enchant creature gets +2/+2 and has reach, and is every creature type. Cool. It's a weird spider card. Lityara Mirror Lake enters tapped, taps for a blue, and you can pay 2 dub green blue, tap, sack it, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter. Activate this ability only anytime you cast a sorcery. Once again, I see the idea of only doing this at sorcery speed, because you might not want to have combat shenanigans. But with this one as well, I feel like you could probably get away with this being anytime during your turn. It's a clone card going into a creature Riku, so that's cool. Other than that, since it's sorcery speed, I don't think this is going to be really constructed, playable, unless there's some sort of combo deck that I'm not thinking of. Disdainful Stroke is back. Doesn't really matter too much because it was in Guild, so it's in Historic. What matters is that this is in Standard now, but since I don't really play Standard, I don't care. Lityara Gladewarden is a 4-mana 3/3 green shapeshifter with Changeling. Pay 3, tap it, exile a creature card from your graveyard, put 2 1/1 counters on target creature, activate its ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. I mean, it's a hill giant that's every creature type with some mana sink upside. This is probably fine and limited. Doomscar Titan is a 6-mana 4/4 giant berserker. It's red with Foretell 5. When Doomscar Titan enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. That includes itself, so it attacks on the turn it comes in as a 5/4. It's a giant, it's a berserker, it has Foretell. I assume this is a role player for limited. Ascent of the Worthy. This is somehow not a story spotlight. All right. It's 3 mana, white and black enchantment saga. First and second, choose a creature you control until your next turn. All damage that would be dealt to creatures you control is dealt to that creature instead. Works really nicely with an indestructible creature. Third, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a flying counter on it. That creature is an angel, warrior, in addition to its other types. So it's slow reanimation. It's 3 mana, and it does reanimate, but it's slow. You get to make most of your creatures, if you have a wide board, I guess, not die to damage, which is cool, I guess. I mean, the only thing that I can see this being interesting with is, like, you play like Ascent of the Worthy, Firemane Captain or whatever her name is, Brash Taunter, and then you play things like not Starstorm. The 7-mana Meteor card, Star Extinction, Starfall, Star Extinction. Is it Star Extinction? I don't remember. Who cares? You play that. You play Storm's Wrath, Deafening Clarion, things like that, and then you just make it so, like, all of your creatures deal damage to one of your creatures. Oh, I guess there's no point if all of your creatures have that ability anyway. So what if instead of that you had, like, Brash Taunter, a bunch of token producers, and then you had, like, Luca or Lucca, whatever like transmogrify, so you could get it out faster. I mean, I'm thinking of like really deep combo stuff because I don't see this being particularly great otherwise. I could be super wrong, but I don't see it being particularly great. Colossal Plough. This very obviously goes with the Ox. Fun fact, it's even by the same artist. Actually, I wonder. Oh, he did this art? I'm very sorry. Yeah, Ox. Big Ox. Done by same artist. Colossal Plough, 2 mana vehicle. I guess it does have a little white border on it. Huh, interesting. Because it's not technically white. Whenever it attacks, add triple white, and you gain 3 life until end of turn. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. This is a 6/3 vehicle. And it's crew 6. So obviously the way you play this in Limited is you play the Ox, then you play this, and you attack with the Plow, and you get to, or I guess technically you play the Plow first, then the Ox. But then, like, you get mana that you can use. This is technically rampant white. This is technically rampant white. Keep it coming, Wizards. Make a card like this but better, and we'll talk. Raven Wings, 2 mana equipment. Equip 2, equip creature gets +1/+0 and has flying, and it is a bird in addition to its other types. Interesting that this makes it a bird. No, I mean that's about it. It's interesting that this makes it a bird. Other than that, I guess for what it's worth, it is an equipment that gets flying in Limited is probably fine. Maya? Is this Maya? Bredegar Protector is 2 green, double white for a legendary creature, human warrior, and it's a 2/3. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. So this is similar. This is very similar to Tristani, Discordant. She buffs your creatures just like Tristani does. She has only 5 worth of stats for 5 mana, just like Tristani does. Tristani is a 1/4. This is a 2/3. This Tristani immediately makes creatures. This can make more creatures over time. Tristani though does have a little extra on there, but Tristani is rare or mythic. I'm pretty sure she's just rare. This is only an uncommon, so I can kind of understand. I assume this is a woman. The only reason I'm thinking about that is because I have a Girls Night Out deck run by Captain Sisay. So whenever a new set comes out, I'm constantly on the lookout for white or green ladies that can go in the deck. Maja, is she better in a token deck than Tristani? I don't know. I think so. They're very, very similar. Is there anything else about this card that I find interesting? I don't know. I'm hoping that we get... Was that Commander Legends that we had it? I'm hoping that every set that comes out, all of the Legends have their own little blurb. Like they did with, I think, Commander Legends. It really helped connect to those characters and understand those characters more. So I really hope we get that here as well. Battlefield Raptor is a single mana, white, flying, first strike, 1/2 bird. It is a 1 mana, 1/2 flying first strike bird. Warhorn Blessing is a 5 mana instant with Foretell 3. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. We've seen similar cards like this. I think the typical rate is 4 mana to give your creatures +2/+1. I think that's like Inspiring Charge or something like that. Something along those lines. This one doesn't cost as much white. Does cost more generally, but can be cheaper if you foretell it. It can be cheaper the turn you cast it. Foretell, like, it's still like 5 mana total. I don't know. This deck, or this format does seem to have plenty of go wide elements, plenty of cards that make creature tokens, plenty of strategies that just want to be playing a lot of creatures in general. So I wouldn't be surprised if this card was pretty decent. In Limited. Story Seeker, aka a couple pixel, is a 2 mana 2/2 lifelink dwarf cleric. It's the obligatory limited 2-mana 2/2 with lifelink. Arnie Brokenbrow, my dude, literally has part of a horn in his fucking skull. Alright. 3-mana 3/3 legendary human berserker. Red, has haste, and boast 1. You may change Arnie Brokenbrow's base power to 1+ the greatest power among creatures you control until end of turn. May change plus the greatest power among creatures you control. Does he work with... I assume he works with himself then, right? So he just attacks as a 4-power creature? Minimum? You may change Arnie Brokenbrow's base power to 1+ the greatest power among creatures you control. Yeah, so if he's the greatest power, then it should 1+. Then yeah, he should attack as long as you boast him as a 4/3. If he's if he's alone. The boast is also pretty cheap. It's a 3-mana 3/3 with haste. I mean, 3-power 3 creature. 3-mana 3-power creature with haste is typically going to be good enough anyway. So this is possibly fine in a deck that runs some other cards that maybe like get larger. So we have Anax, right? Anax scales really interestingly. Stuff like that. Maybe run this and that. To 1+. So you could also potentially run this in it'd be really weird, but like a Kiln Fiend style deck, where like you have Kiln Fiend and Arnie, and then you can buff the crap out of Kiln Fiend, and then Arnie would essentially become as big as Kiln Fiend. So there's like that. Don't know if that's good or just a meme, but there is that. Frost Augur is a 1-mana 1/2 blue snow creature, human wizard. Pay a snow and tap. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a snow card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. I believe this is essentially just scrying sheets on a card, right? Scrying sheets, or I should say on a body. 1/2. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a snow, reveal it and put it in your hand. Yeah, this is just $24. Really? All right. It's not rare. It costs less. And it's the same effect. The difference, though, is Scrying Sheets is on a land. This is on a relatively small creature. This can die pretty easily. It's cool, though. Battle Shield Warrior is a 3-mana 2/2 human warrior. Boast 2. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Notably, that includes itself. So if you're boasting, it can attack as a 3/3. And this card is better when you have more creatures. I'm still trying to think of the white weenie deck. I don't... This is another card I just don't know. I feel like it's easier to recognize the good white weenie cards at the 1 and 2 drop slot. But the 3 drop slot is kind of where a deck like that wants to end, I think. You know, maybe you have a couple 4s. But I'm just trying to think, like... I feel like this wouldn't make the cut normal white weenie. I could be super wrong, though. Rootless Yew is a 5-mana, 5/4 green tree folk. When it dies, search your library for a creature card with power or toughness 6 or greater, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. It's cool. It's very cool. But it seems essentially just a limited card. 5/4, yeah, it doesn't, like, if it was a 5 and a 5/5, even then, obviously, it still would be good. But if it was at least a 5 and a 5/5, it's a little bit more justifiable in certain circumstances. Emerstroma Predator is a 4-mana Rakdos 3/3 vampire dragon baby. Flying. When it becomes tapped, up to one target card, when it becomes tapped, exile up to one target card from a graveyard and put a 1/1 counter on Emerstroma Predator. Ooh, I love it already. Sacrifice another creature. Emerstroma Predator gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. First of all, this is a vampire, so you can do funny shenanigans in vampire decks with this card. Specifically, you can put it in with 3-mana sword, which is quite funny. Second, it's a dragon, so you can do fun things in dragon decks. I can't think of anything for dragon decks in Historic or Standard, but shut up. It flies, sure. But it has inbuilt Graveyard Hate, which I just love. And the Graveyard Hate makes it bigger, which is, once again, something I love. And last, but most, it is a free sack outlet. Yes, it does require to tap it, but if you're already attacking, who cares? This card is awesome. I maybe deceased play in a different version of Saknos. I don't know, but I gotta say, I love the card. The thing is, I thought this was gonna be Nidhogg, but like if Sarulf got a legendary card and the Rastskitter, I can't remember his name, also got a legendary card. The World Tree didn't because they don't like legendary lands. Oh, I guess Slipnir didn't either. The horse. Yeah, so I guess it makes sense that maybe they didn't want to give them to all of them. Yeah, fine. I still think this card's freaking sweet. The Raven's Warning is a 3-mana Azorius enchantment saga. First, create a 1/1 blue bird creature token when flying. You gain 2 life. It's in a life game, sure. Second, whenever one or more creatures you control with flying deals combat damage to a player this turn, look at that player's hand and draw a card. Note, this doesn't care about how many creatures you control. It's how many players get dealt damage, or how many creatures you control that attack. It's about how many players get dealt damage. So if you deal if you hit one opponent with 2 creatures, you're still only drawing 1. But if you hit 2 opponents with 1 creature each, you're going to draw 2. You're going to look at both their hands and you're going to draw 2. Cool. Third, you may put a card you own from outside of the game on top of your library. This is a wish effect. I don't like it. I'm just not a big fan of wish effects, generally speaking. Is that true? That might not be true. I think the reason I don't like them is because, like, they operate differently in constructed versus kitchen top, right? Or like essentially any sanctioned thing versus kitchen top. Like in casual, this is literally any card you own. Any card, literally any card. In every other circumstances, it's a card in your sideboard, or like in limited, it's a card in whatever you have left, which is I think technically your sideboard. But also another reason that I don't like this is like it's 2 different things. Like it doesn't fit the other parts of this card. Like I get that it still flows with the story of the card. Like you make a bird, the bird goes and sends a message. You get the message, right? The first one, burb. Second, burb. Third, what? That said, maybe you can play this in burbs, in Azorius Flyers, but I doubt it. It's probably just too slow. Cosmos Elixir is a 4-mana artifact. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. If your life total is greater than your starting life total, otherwise, you gain 2 life. So if you have, 21 life in constructed, you can draw a card. If you're not at 21 life in constructed, you get to gain 2 life. Now, this is definitely interesting. First of all, this goes directly into Olora. This just says 4 mana. You get to draw a card at the beginning of each of your upkeeps. Or end steps. It's end steps too. Ooh, I love that. End step means you get it immediately. That's what I like to call that good stuff. Draw card. Life total is less than, or is greater than your starting life total. I don't think this has room in constructed. I just think it's too slow. But in EDH, depending on the deck, I think this is possibly fine. Just draws you cards. Also can just gain your life, and if you're playing a deck where you're going to be gaining a life anyway, you probably have life gain triggers, so it's probably fine. You don't play this in the white life gain deck because those decks are typically aggressive. But maybe you'll think of me when you are all alone. No, maybe you can have some sort of weird mid-rangey version. Valley of Lights. It's a land. Terra Nevada. What? No, but it's what? This isn't just a land, right? I guess it's a snow land. There's no way Nevada means snow, right? Whatever. Enters tapped. Adds it enters the battlefield, choose a color. Tap, add 1 mana of the chosen color. This potentially is going to help with snow fixing. Alright, I know people in my comment section speak Spanish. I'm pretty sure this is Spanish. El Val del Brillo errant contra a la campo. I'm pretty sure this is Spanish. It could be Portuguese. Oh, it says Spanish right at the bottom here. SP. So this is definitely Spanish. Let me know what Nevada means in Spanish. Priest of the Damned. I assume it's the Damned. 2 mana, 0/4, snow creature, zombie cleric, it's black. Tap, sack it. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of snow lands you control. Man, wouldn't that be such a cool card? Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. This card is garbage because of this last fucking line. This card does nothing else. This card has 0 power. Okay? You can, I guess, you can block with it. The entire point of this card is the fact that you can make a creature get small based on the number of snow lands that you control. But you can only do it at sorcerer speed. Why, wizards? Frozen's Blessing, 4 mana, snow sorcery, or snorcery. Distributes X 1/1 counters among any number of creatures you control, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast a spell. Then draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. So, essentially, you get to distribute 4. Notably, if for some reason this costs more, and you spend more snow, you get to distribute more. Then you draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Maybe? Nah, you can't play this in the +1/+1 counters deck. Fearless Pup, 1 mana, 1/1 red wolf. It's not a dog for some reason. It looks like a fucking dog to me, doesn't it? Is that not a dog? Is that not a dog? It can be a wolf and a dog, wizards. It can be a wolf and a fucking dog. It can be a wolf and a fucking dog. Anyway, that's first strike. Okay, sure. Also has Boast, 3 mana. Fearless Pup gets a +2/+0 until end of turn. Cool. Its flavor text is a cringe. It's just, oh, it's a little, it's a little pupper doing an oh woo. I want to cut my tongue out now. Frenzied Raider. God, this art is so good. 2 mana, 2/2 Demon Berserker. Whenever you activate a Boast ability, put a 1/1 counter on Frenzied Raider. Seems good. Also, it's a 2 mana demon. I think it's Rectus the Showstopper. Yeah, it's Showstopper. Is it possible to make a full ass demon deck now? Bruh, wait a second. I'm thinking of the wrong card, aren't I? No, I'm thinking of the right card. You can control 4 more demons with different names, you win the game. So the big issue with this card, initially, one is the fact that it's a 5 mana enchantment, but is that demons cost a lot of mana. But we have some demons that don't cost a lot of mana. Interesting. I have my own attention. That's very interesting. Also, is he wearing metal? What the fuck? Horizon Seeker is a 3 mana 3/2 human warrior with Boast 2. Search the library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Limited. Tyrite Sanctum. Shout out to Merchant. This was his preview card. It's a land. Tap. Add a colorless. Sure. Pay 2, tap, target legendary creature becomes a god in addition to its other types. Put a 1/1 counter on it. Cool. You get to make things gods. Makes sense. Even though this is not story spotlight, I assume this is how Thibault did his weird god thing. 4 mana, tap, sacrifice Tyrant Sanctum, put an indestructible counter on target god. So, this can make your gods indestructible from this set. But a notable thing is that the gods of Hour of Devastation, the Bolas gods, are not indestructible. Neither are the war gods. Make them indestructible. Additionally, in EDH, you can make one of your your general a god, and then you can make it indestructible. And note, this is an instant speed thing, so it's not like you have to sack it as soon as you can. It's very cool. I definitely like this, especially in decks where, like, so for example, in Gisa, a lot of my board wipes for Gisa destroy things that essentially aren't zombies, right? I have Kindred, whatever the black Kindred one is, where you destroy all the things. I have things like that. So she ends up just dying in the crossfire. With Tyra Sanctum, I just be like, nah. And what's good is that if I have Urborg in the deck, so it's not even like Tyra Sanctum is going to necessarily mess up my mana base too much. It's a mono black deck, so very, very cool card. Probably just worth getting in a lot of circumstances. Like, for what it's worth, I suspect that this card is going to... It's $8 now. I feel like this is going to be a Commander staple. Savella, Ice Shaper, is a 3-mana, 2/4, Gruul, legendary snow creature troll warrior. Say that 5 times fast. Pay 3, tap, create a colorless snow artifact token named Icy Manolith. With tap, add 1 mana of any color. Notably, these are snow artifacts, so they do make snow mana. Second ability, pay 6 red-green, tap, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the battlefield, or on the bottom of your library in any order. So she's a 3-mana 2/4, so totally fine on her own. And then if you have, like, dumb mana, you can just cast spells. You only do it once per turn, because it taps unless you have a way to untap her. She's very similar to Mael. Different, obviously, but very similar. She's cool. I don't have a red-green commander deck, so I might try and make a snow deck. I just don't know... I don't know what, like, the greatest collection of snow is, you know? Snow. And then search. There's only 104 snow cards. Sort this by color. A little bit of white. Decent amount of blue. Some black. Not a lot of red. Some green here. I assume green would be the highest. And green. Maybe blue-green is better. So maybe I'd have to do it like that. I don't know. I don't know. Talk about it. Anyway. Graven Lore is a 5-mana snow instant. Scry X, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast a spell, then draw 3 cards. So you always get to draw the 3 cards, which is nice. And then you just get to scry first, depending on how much snow you put in this. I mean, it's a 5-mana draw 3. Have we seen a 5-mana draw 3 at instant speed recently? We have precog, and that just doesn't see play. Did it see play at all? It may have in standard. I have no idea about this card. Draugr Thought Thief, a freaking 3-mana 3/2 blue zombie rogue. Okay. So how I cannot imagine a zombie being stealthy. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top card of target player's library. You may put that card in their graveyard. It's kind of like Bait Seal. Obviously it's different. It's a zombie rogue. It's weird. I don't think this is going to see much play outside of limited. Blood on the Snow is a 6-mana snow sorcery that's black. Choose one. Destroy all creatures. Or destroy all planeswalkers. Then return a creature or planeswalker card with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of snow mana spent to cast this. So there is technically a hard cap on this of you can only get something back that's 6 CMC. For what it's worth, not really an issue. when you take the card, right, technically speaking, this card is a fine rate, right? What it does is a board wipe, which is give or take 4 mana, and a whole ass reanimation spell, which is once again give or take 4 mana. So you're getting fundamentally around 8 mana, give or take 2 mana. Around 8 mana worth of effect for only 6 mana worth of cost. The issue is when you want the effect. And you don't want the effect of destroying a board on 6. EDH, sure. Like, I'm almost certainly going to be, sadly, modifying my Gisa zombie decks to be running Snowlands now, because there are other snow zombies in this set that care about your snow, and frankly, I want to be able to utilize those snow effects, because those are good zombies, and I want to play them. And I very well may play this card, especially considering the fact that I can use this and immediately put Gisa back. One of the big issues with the deck, as I said just recently, is that a lot of my board wipes, they just kill my Gisa. It makes me very sad. But with this, it's like, alright, Gisa died, but she gets to come back immediately. Cool. But in Constructed, 6 mana is often too late for a board wipe. 5 mana is often too late for a board wipe. You kind of need it to be in that 4 mana area. And this isn't, so I don't know how it'll go. Provoke the trolls, feed the trolls. Ha ha ha, trolls, this is funny. 4 mana, instant, provoke the trolls deals 3 damage to any target. If a creature is dealt damage this way, it gets +5/+0 until end of turn. I like the design of this card. It's a 4 mana instant, it deals 3 to anything, so for what it's worth, like, you can just hit your opponent for 3 with this. If you have a creature tough enough, you also just, like, get to make them stronger. But they do still have 3 damage marked on them. This is a strange card, and I'm going to leave it to the people who are better at evaluating strange cards than me. Last one for this video is Icehide Troll. 3 mana, 2/3. Green Troll Warrior. Snow creature. Double snow. Icehide Troll gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. So another one where you can gain indestructible. This does tap, which, once again, kind of unfortunate. You might think, like, why give it a power boost if you're tapping it? Because if you're attacking, tapping it doesn't matter. And if you're defending, tapping it doesn't matter. The fact that you get indestructible does mean that I prefer it this way. Because what it means is your opponent can use removal spell before they go to attacks to see if you want to pay the mana to keep your troll around, or if you need to have more mana up because you're going to use some sort of trick, right? I think it leads to more decisions. So I do like the card. Mana 2/3. And have 4 power for relatively cheap. It's probably still just not great enough. Anyway, I have a P.O. box. Send me things. I'll open them on camera. I'd like to thank my lovely patrons, especially Fogwind, Malik, and Ballaterra, for the continued support. If you'd like to join them in the support in the show, you'll find links in the description down below. Do, of course, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And, of course, until next time, all will be one.